Hello everyone, welcome back to When Saturdays Come With Me, Dry Bright, and we've just witnessed the Blades lose at Oxford 1-0 after it all started so well for us during lunchtime kickoffs where we had mixed results when Leeds dropped 2 points at Luton. I always thought it was going to be tough, and Burnley hung on for dear life at Coventry to win out 2-1 and tried every trick of dark arts to get that victory and they got the job done and they go top. And we have just thrown an opportunity away today. We had loads of possession second half and we couldn't find a way. It was a very, very disappointing performance, I thought. The conditions weren't great. That's not an excuse for all the possession that we had. Chris Wilder made all the changes that he could. And I thought we tried to go for it, but there was just no end product. I think we only had the odd shot on goal as well, and it was just really, really disappointed to hammer it down. And the disappointing thing is that, we talk the talk, don't we, before the game. Chris Wilder says we were going to go for it and all the rest of it, but it just never materialised. And we gave away an absolute awful goal from Dembele in the first half from a long throw-in. Will Vokes is that's all he's good at, throwing long balls into the box, and one of them finally dropped at the far post for them to score before half time, to go 1-0 up at half time. I didn't expect a big response in the second half from Blaze, and it did come in sorts, and we huffed and puffed as much as we could, but nothing really happened, and we couldn't find a way through. I mean, going back to the beginning of the game, we looked a really strong bench. Everybody was sort of back, and we had Gilchrist, McCallum, Souza, O'Hare, Moore, Cannon, all on the bench, Raksaki. And, apart from McCallum, they all came on, but they still couldn't find a way. And it was really sort of a bit of a stalemate in first half. Nothing, it was quite open. It was a dry pitch. We had 3 chances in first half from Rian, Campbell, Burrows. Keeper made a couple of good saves, but we still couldn't find a way through it. It was just a really hard battle. We couldn't find a way through, could we? And it was just disappointing all the way, weren't it? And it got to half time. It was bitty and nothing really happening. And then it got to, I thought the changes would come, but they did come after 60 minutes. We started brightly, second half, 47 minutes, we got a corner. After good work from Sariki, who I thought was the best player, by the way, on the pitch for Blades today. And we tried to up the ante a little bit. Burrows got a good ball across the box and it came to nothing. In 57 minutes, Raksaki and Souza came on. Chowdy went off. Barrington Diaz went off. Then there was another last ditch on Burrows to try and when he trying to get the ball into the box. Then on 63 minutes, it was generally all Blades then. I mean, we were trying to go for it. Kiefer Moore came on. Campbell went off. He were a bit disappointed today, apart from one chance. On 69 minutes, the great shot from Peck, we went just wide. And, the game was drifting and they were getting more desperate. We couldn't find a way, and Cannon came on and Brewster went off. O'Hare came on. Peck went off. It was getting more difficult. It was getting more desperate, but nothing were happening, was it? And you could just see, you just knew it weren't going to be one of our days. And as hard as we tried, and El got booked, and it took one for the team when they had one of their rare breaks in second half. But overall, it's a missed opportunity. Dropped 3 points today. Well, we could have been 4 points clear, and we're going to need a big, big performance against Millwall. Now, I know I said in my last, it's going to be a roller coaster. There'll be twists, there'll be turns, and all the rest of it. But if you can't win, don't lose, and we've got to get a result. And we should have got a result today. I just could not see us losing today at all at Oxford. That performance wasn't acceptable at all. I just felt that we were off it. We were well off it at times. And I think Chris Wilder's press is going to be quite interesting, to say the least, as come the second half. So, Burnley go top. They found a way. They were still unbeaten. And that's how it's going to be. So it's between us and Leeds, and we've got to get that gap. We've got to get that gap over Leeds now on Tuesday against Millwall. Anything could happen. It is between any two from three. You know, Burnley are probably favourites now. It keeps twisting and turning and all the rest of it. Let's just hope we can find a way to bounce back from that on Tuesday night and get a result. So, as always, thanks I'd love to hear your comments, see what you think about that. Put them in at the bottom. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I will have another update again on Monday for the game against Millwall, and we'll see what Chris Wilder has to say at the presser, and I'll upload it if I can a little bit later on this evening. So, over the Blades, I'll speak to you later, and it's from a very disappointed Dry Bry tonight, and I'm sure all you other fans out there will be disappointed too, but chins up, and we'll hopefully come bounce back on Tuesday night.
There's no argument for the result. I always look at my team and they get the honest answer. They get no spin on it, and we didn't do enough. I thought they started better than us, and obviously we knew the approach. And I'm done exactly the same. A team fighting for its life against a team that's trying to get out of the division. They stuck it on us. Obviously long throws and stuff like that, but still, you know, quality at the top of the pitch, and we never really dealt with that. We had 2 or 3 opportunities before they scored, which we should possibly take. But as we always say, you know, when an opponent, especially an opponent that you're expected to beat, and the crowd's vociferous and they're right behind their team, gets a goal in front, it becomes a difficult afternoon. And Gary's an extremely talented manager, and he's a good operator. And 1 was always going to be enough. They sat in. The pitch was dry. It was windy, so it wasn't a fast game from our point of view. Even though we tried to slow it down, which I didn't enjoy. We played too slow. We were too ponderous. We didn't play quick enough. Ball speed wasn't quick enough for us. Allowed them to sit into the shape. And then I thought, from a technical point of view, the quality of our players, we made so many poor decisions. Poor decisions in terms of what to do with the ball, and then poor decisions, and technically poor decisions in terms of, you know, loose passing and crosses going behind the goal, and really not playing well as individuals. So there it is. There was an opportunity there to obviously gain 3 points, but when you don't do enough, and full credit to Oxford United and Gary, they deserved their win, and obviously comes to an end of an incredible away record.
Is that type of performance taken you by surprise? There's lots of kind of energy about, well, the away record, how you played against Coventry, training this last couple of weeks, and then here we are.
I didn't see it coming. You know, listen, it's not an attitude problem, you know, because they can't play 30, 39, 40 games or whatever, and sulk and walk about and not try or not give everything. It was just the other part of it. We were just off of it. You know, like I said, from the start, 2 centre forwards never held the ball up. Midfield players made some bad decisions with the ball. The 2 wides never really gave us anything. Quality from fullbacks wasn't very good. When we tried to build and gain some momentum, it was too slow and allowed them to get in. Like I said, it was a slow pitch, and it was a dry day, and we have to recognise that we have to play a little bit quicker and a little bit maybe more direct, and obviously didn't we try and force little balls through even late on. You know, they're 5-4 or 4-5 and they're clogging the middle of the park up. You've got to go wide. It's pretty simple. There's a game plan. You know, we put a game plan to them, but the game plan's to help the players in possession and out possession. You know, so if something changes, you know, if we want to play down the side of the right back and he comes in and Gus moves him, then there's a ball down the side and the right back stays in its slot. We've got to make better decisions to say we've got to do something else off the back of that. You know, it's not FIFA, and we didn't do that. We didn't do the basics right in terms of just overall keeping the ball and playing and moving the ball quick enough. And as much as I talked about how good Friday night was, and for me there was 7s and 8s out of 10. We've collectively come together and produced 5s and maybe a couple of 6s. So we have to deal with that. We have to get on with it. We have to get back on the bus, get ready, and prepare for Tuesday.
History this season suggests that when there has been a defeat, on the back of that generally comes with it a fairly substantial unbeaten run thereafter.
Yeah, as I said, it's not an unbelievable margin for error, because I think all 3 teams, will go to the end. So we have to recover, and we have to recover pretty quickly, because can't feel sorry for ourselves, can't feel sorry for ourselves as a football club. We've got to get back and get on and produce a performance on Tuesday night, and hopefully put this to bed. This is what the Championship is all about, as everybody talks about, and I've managed loads of games in it, and the game's not won on a coupon, it's won on the pitch, and we just didn't do enough to win a game.